Okay, so we have Christina here. So I would love to start with how you got started in the wedding industry. Like, take me back. How did you get into, I know you do hair and makeup, right?
Yes, I do. So
Yeah,
it's been a long journey. It's been a
yeah.
long journey.
And tell me where you're from.
So I'm from Long Island, New York, but I live now in South Florida. I live in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
So yeah, so my journey started in this industry when I was like 15. I started in a salon, like shampooing and sweeping floors. And I just kind of started doing it because I needed a job. Like my parents were like, it's time, you need to start working. Um, and I just really fell in love with the industry. And I come from like a family of hairdressers. So that kind of helped. And then I just got my hands really dirty in the industry. Like I loved every part of it, but I really gravitated towards like, I really like doing makeup to start for like weddings and proms and all that stuff. And, at 19, I was like blissfully naive and I was like, yeah, this is great. And I just had so much fun doing it. But then, people were kind of like, you can't just do makeup. Like, you can't just do weddings. Like, you'll never make any money. So I started working behind the chair and was doing like cuts and colors and all that stuff. So I did that for 20 years. And then I moved down to Florida in 21, like of September of 21, and was working behind the chair. And it wasn't bringing me like any income. Like I felt broke, like financially, emotionally, like mentally, like I just was really struggling. And like I knew that I wasn't a bad hairdresser, so I just couldn't figure out, where the disconnect was. And then I started doing hair and makeup on the side to supplement my income. And I was like, I'm making a lot more money than I am slaving behind the chair. And I decided to make it legit. I created an LLC and I did that in October of 23. So we're coming up on like 2 years that
Oh,
I'll like have my
wow.
own, yeah, that my LLC was created. And then I was still doing it part time and trying to balance both between the salon industry that I like loved so much and that I fell so in love with and, trying to build my brand. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going all in. November 1st of 24. Oh my God, that's crazy that it's like almost a year for
Almost
that.
a year.
That happened really fast. But then
Wow.
I just was like, you know what? I left the salon industry completely and took a leap of faith and I'm so happy that I did. So, and now this is my full-time job. I do bridal hair and makeup full time and it's the best decision I've made.
Wait,
So,
okay. There's so many
that's a
things that
lot.
I
I
want to touch
know.
on
I was
because I'm
trying to
like,
like give you
what?
Cliff's notes and like,
But I love your journey. First off, I can resonate so much. I started out at the salon at 15 shampooing for
yeah,
years, literally at 15. That was my first job ever. So that is like so funny. But you started out doing makeup first. It
I
wasn't like
did.
updos.
No, it
That's
wasn't. I was like this weirdo that was like, I was in the hair industry, but I was almost scared to do hair. It's very bizarre. It was very bizarre.
No, I've heard that before. I've heard my one of my friends told me she was afraid to do hair because with makeup you could wipe it off, but with hair
Yeah.
you can't like put it back on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was like my thing. Like I wouldn't cut hair. Like I was so like, nope, nope. And then I just, eventually I was like, okay, it's time. Like enough is enough.
It's time.
And
And then that's
so
crazy that you were kind of told like, a lot of people, or especially our families, when they care about us, they're like, oh, you can't make that a full-time career.
yeah,
And
like
you
it
kind of
was,
shoved it to the back burner, but now here you are, full circle
yeah,
moment later, almost a year out doing full time. How is
yeah.
that compared to when you were in the salon, like income wise?
Better. I will say that. Like I can make the same amount of money or more in less time. Like, I just remember like slaving away doing like a full head balayage or like, being with one client for, let's say, 4.5 hours for like a color service and a cut service, and leaving the salon with like pennies. So if it was like $400 total for the service, you only leave with 50% maybe.
Oh yeah.
And then it was just kind of like I was doing all of this work and it just wasn't like the ends weren't justifying the means. Whereas now, like, and I was working on somebody else's like pricing, like somebody else's rates. When you work for a
Yeah.
salon, that's like kind of how it goes. But
Yeah.
now, like, I dictate my own rates and I dictate the clients that I want to work with. And I don't have to take anybody that I don't want to take because I feel like, oh, well, what am I going to do? Like, I need to make money. Like, I don't feel like that anymore. Like I can make the same amount of money in a smaller time frame and actually feel fulfilled, like, and exhausted in like a good way, not like exhausted where I'm like dreading going back to work the next day.
Oh, that is so real. Like when I think back to working in a salon, there's a different exhaustion when
Yeah.
you're so right when you're working a wedding. You're not like, I never want to, maybe at the end of a wedding
Right.
season you might feel that, but
Yeah.
it's not like I don't ever want to work, weddings again.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting to the point where I would like wake up with like anxiety, like crying, doing my makeup, being like, I don't want to go to the salon. But like, I felt like because I was in like this horrible, that like when you're in limbo, I'm like, what am
Yes.
I going to do? Like, I have to make a decision. I have to do something. So,
Yes. So I'm actually curious so you left the salon November 1st, 2024.
yeah.
And you were doing weddings before that. Like when you started full time, did you have like a game plan? Did you have weddings set up or were you just kind of like, I'm just gonna go for
I
it?
was taking a leap of faith. I was very much like, raw dog in life. I was like, all right, we're going to see. I knew like how I was feeling prior to that moment was so terrible for me that I was like, anything's got to be better than this, like,
Yeah.
so it was kind of like a do or die situation where I was like, well, I don't want to go back to doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to make this work. And I think once I did that, it was just kind of like I had so much more room to focus my energy on that, on, you know, booking clients and booking weddings and doing all of that. And I mean, when you're working for yourself and you have no one else to depend on, you figure it out really quick.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, I was kind of similar. I had a little bit set up, but I feel like raw dogging it and just kind of like going off the deep end, you just figure it out because you
Yeah.
have to. You have nobody else to depend on but yourself. And it's kind of like that do or die, but it really makes you hold yourself accountable and like step up into that like CEO level that you have to, that maybe you weren't before because it was still side hustle.
Yeah, it was like I knew that a shift had to be made when I was working at the salon and I was like turning down opportunities that like I wanted to take but I couldn't take because of my like if my book on like a Saturday, I'm like this sucks. Like I don't want to be here. Like I would rather be doing that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and then I was like, well, we're doing it. We're going to see what the hell happens. Yeah.
Okay, so walk me through where you were at when you found the academy. Because did you join in November of 24?
That's a really good question. I feel like it was around that time.
I feel like too.
Yeah. Oh, because I think you did a Black Friday sale. And I was like,
Yeah.
on the trigger. Um, but I had like PTSD from another course that I had taken when I had first created my LLC. So I like was like, okay, I'm gonna take this like bridal business course and because I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I just knew like I was like, okay, well now it's legit. So now what? I needed everything. I needed to figure out, Instagram and all this stuff that like I never had to do in my entire life because working at a salon, you're just kind of like you get used to like being fed people and I'm an elder millennial. I didn't grow up with this stuff. So I had PTSD from this course that I had taken and I just felt like I learned some stuff, but I didn't feel like supported. I felt that the way she did things was kind of like, I don't know. I wasn't thrilled with it. And I kind of was left feeling um, like traumatized a little bit, like, oh my God, I just spent all this money and what did I get out of it, you know? And so then when I joined the academy, I had been watching like your YouTubes and like I had been kind of like stalking you low key. And then, yeah. And then I was like, okay, like now is a better time than ever. So I bought I signed up for both courses, the BBA and the social media one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so I was like, all right, we're gonna do it again, you know, and here I am. I'm still here, going on a year.
Going on a year.
Yeah,
I love that because I feel like a lot of people they kind of have a burned experience. And I mean, we've all been burned, but we can't let it stop us from trying something else. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So, like, I love that you didn't let that hold you back because genuinely I adore you. And I'm so glad that I was able to like attract someone like you. I know you did another course. Did you have before joining the academy? And I know like social media was a little bit not your strongest point or
No, it
like
wasn't.
where you felt strong. But in terms of like your business, did you have like your ideal bride or were you a la carte? Did you have packages? Like, was there anything set up in that sense or was that all new to you?
So so the previous course, like she kind of focused on like your ideal bride and everything, but I felt like a lot of her stuff was outdated. Like she
Mm,
was kind of using stuff that I feel like from like, you know, 2021, like 22, like it didn't feel relevant to, you know, now.
yeah.
And there was nothing like about packages. There was nothing about, you know, really kind of, she would talk about niching down, but she didn't explain like how to do it. It was just like she kept saying the word and it was like,
Uh,
okay, like,
yeah.
okay, great, I get it, but I
Next
don't.
steps.
So
Next steps,
explain
please.
it to me like I'm five. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that was like, that's kind of where I was like, what is happening here? You know, I thought maybe it was just me, but then I had spoken to a couple of other girls in the course and they were kind of feeling similar. So, yeah. So there was definitely some holes there for sure.
Okay. All right. So before you joined the academy, what was like your biggest struggle in your business that you were like, was it more so coming from a place of like, I know I need to take this thing seriously, or was there something you were like, I need more bookings, I need more inquiries, something in your process wasn't the best that it could be for you?
I feel like I was always taking it seriously, you know, but I felt like I definitely needed more. I just felt like I needed more guidance on like, yeah, like inquiries and like kind of making things like tailored to like the aesthetic that I was kind of looking for. I felt like there was a lot of things that she had said that were not aligning with who I was, but she was like, no, 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 like telling everyone like a general blanket statement, like, this is what brides are looking for. Like, this is what your website should look like. You should have whites and pinks and that's, I mean, I'm like a neutral person, but I'm 90% in black, even in South Florida. I don't care how damn hot it is. Like, I'm in black. Like, I'm
Yeah.
a New Yorker at heart. We wear black. We got our summer black. We got our winter black. We wear black.
All the
So
black.
yeah. So, and I felt like I wasn't getting any guidance into like, you know, just kind of like I felt like it was all very like fake and not genuine. And
Mm.
that was hard for me because I'm just a very like authentic person. Like, I just don't, you know, I wasn't like aligning with any of that. So that was kind of where I was getting confused. And then it wasn't like anything was really helping me get more bookings or anything like that. It was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. There was just a really big disconnect. And yeah. And for my business, I just wanted something that was like true to me. And I wanted to just attract people that were like me, like-minded, that wanted to work with me, not just like fluff and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, so when you got into the academy, were you like, wow, this is definitely different than what I was in before? And what was like your first major aha moment where you were like, okay, this is maybe what you've been looking for?
I think it was like the quality of everything that I was looking at. Like I was like wow, like the templates, for example. Like I was like, this is incredible. Like this is exactly kind of what I was trying to explain. And the other one was like, yeah, but I know it needs to look aesthetically pleasing, but like how? Like help me because I don't know.
Yeah,
So I
yeah, yeah.
needed someone to literally, because I'm such a visual person too. So like
We all are,
things
yeah.
like that, like getting to see like how things should be laid out and
Mhm.
just the whole, I mean, and I'm not even gonna lie, like, and I'm not gonna say this as a bad thing, but like when I was like really getting into the course, I was like, holy shit, this is kind of overwhelming, there's so much stuff, like,
I
but it was
know.
a good overwhelming because I didn't feel like disappointed or let down. Like I felt like I was like, no, this is exactly what I was looking for. Like I needed more guidance than someone just being like, okay, yeah, like do X, Y, and Z and whatever. So
Yeah.
when I started like taking the social media course, like just being told how to film things, like angles and stuff like that was huge. Like things that people don't know. Like you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, or like, thinking about ways to speak to your brides that is not so generic and like what everybody else is doing. And like knowing that the more like dialed in you are with speaking to your ideal bride, that like your views are going to be lower. So don't do that, like just stay consistent, like stop looking at the views and just kind of post it. And, just all of the stuff that you could easily get in your head about. And like, if you compare yourself to other people.
Yeah. Then you start spiraling.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Um, so I know, I feel like you've told me prior you weren't using packages. You were a la carte.
Right.
How has
Yeah.
your experience been in that aspect with like the mindset of transitioning, and how have your brides been receptive to it?
So I'll say that it's been an adjustment for me. And I think more because I am such like, I feel like I'm like an analytical buyer. So I'm not surprised if when I attract analytical buyers, because that makes sense to me. I'm still like adjusting to it because I automatically kind of want to go back to like autopilot. And I will say, because I do both hair and makeup, it works if I want to do like a bride only package. I recently just kind of did a change in my bigger package to include an assistant. So hopefully that kind of starts to work out and like attract more people where it seems more appealing.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm just still kind of like navigating it in all honesty. I don't think they're bad by any means. It's just different for me because I just feel like also too, like we're transitioning into this new generation of brides that I feel are very like it's almost like they want the bare minimum. So it's kind of like the packages to them when they see the number are very much like they
Sticker
almost
shock.
get a little bit of sticker shock. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm still trying to like navigate that. I'm still like, they're still there. I still stick to it. So I'm just kind of like curious to see how it works.
Yeah.
Because yeah, because I
Yeah.
find it hard for me because I do both. So it's kind of like, you know, I don't know. I don't know yet.
And definitely I can see that because with the packages, it's definitely, even though I'll give you, you know, a method that you can use, it's still something that you have to test out with what you like and your own brides. It's not like a one size fits all. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Even though you want to take your packages to make your services, you know, more concise and easier for you and your bride to like decide, it's still something you have to test out. And I
Yeah.
love that you're testing it out and you're like, well, let me see if this one works better for me, because
Yeah.
that's the kind of things that are going to help you best in your own business, and especially with doing both hair and makeup. But I'm curious, what has been something with this new generation of brides that you've seen over the past year that you're like, okay, this is definitely different?
So it's so funny because the beginning of this year, like I had brides that were just, they would email me, they explained everything, they were thorough, and it was easy, dare I say it, but it was so easy,
Yeah.
and then now I feel like the brides are like, coming into your DMs, they're not reading, they're not doing like any research, you
Mm-mm.
know, um, they're just kind of like they want their answers right away. They want to know the price breakdown. Like because I would, respond in DMs like, hey, it sounds like with the amount of services that you have or whatever, like this package would be great for you, and I do like a little screenshot so they can read it and see like what is included in it. I'm like, it comes with an assistant, like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then I'll get met with, okay, but like, what is it like per service? So then, I break it down for them, which is fine. And then they usually just have to run back and have like a powwow, like with their homies. So, like,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm like, okay, this is, I was probably blissfully naive, or I just got really lucky with the brides that I had in the beginning of the year that were booking in 24, where they were like, oh, I went to your website and I read your reviews and I love your work and blah, blah, blah. Like, are you available? Like, and I was like, oh, this is great. Love
Cool.
this. And now, yeah, so now it's kind of like this major shift where it's harder to almost get to know them in a way, like
Yeah.
because they don't want to sit and like really have any sort of like a conversation, and I try to, and sometimes I crack them a little bit, but some I just feel like it's almost like robotic, like
Yeah.
in a weird way. So I don't know, I'm trying to navigate these girls.
That is so interesting. And I love that you pointed that out, because I feel like we're in such an AI world. And like my whole thing, like I try to humanize us as much as possible, like lean on your automations where you can. But that's funny that you're seeing that they're so like AI, like giving
Yeah.
robotic feels, like short
Yeah,
answer.
yeah, like just and it's almost like not rude, but it's not like,
Welcome.
hi, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just very much like, hey, are you available on this date? I have 5 bridesmaids. Like, what are your rates? Like, there's
Yeah.
no like, you know, oh, at your earliest convenience, if you could just let me, like, nothing like that.
Nothing.
Like, oh, okay.
Nothing.
Like, I feel like a piece of meat. Like, it's just kind of like, so
They're just checking us off a list. It's
yeah,
so
yeah,
wild. And that you said that you feel like they need to go have a little powwow. I feel like I'm
yeah,
seeing that more and more. Oh, so the universe is thumbs up at me on it. But I'm seeing that more and more of like they wanted that like typical objection of like, I gotta check with my bridesmaids.
yeah,
Yeah, and I want to chat about the one post that you made in the community, and I feel like that was it. Didn't like a bride say she was like comparing your bridesmaids rates with somebody else,
yes,
and then you
yeah,
turned her around?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a great feeling. And honestly, I was like, okay, we're just gonna see if this works.
Yeah,
And
walk me through it. Walk me through it.
so she had reached out, and we were chatting via DM, and I gave her my rates, and she's like, okay, like I'm just gonna follow up, with my bridesmaids. So I said, okay. So then like 2 days later, I had reached out to her like, hey, just checking in to see, if you have any questions, if there's, anything I can do for you, whatever. And she had responded that she had found, or I guess was talking to another artist who would do both hair and makeup services for 180 together. And she was very much like saying how she wants to make sure that her girls budgets are taken care of and that she's really looking out for them and all that stuff. And I just kind of like flipped the script where normally I would have gotten like really frustrated and just been like, fine, see you later. Like,
Bye.
yeah. But I just had, kind of just said like, I totally get it. Like wanting to really kind of respect your friends' budgets, like, and just explain to her that there's more than the actual physical part of getting your hair and makeup done. Like when we work together, that I pretty much take anything off of her plate in regards to like worrying about finding another artist, creating a timeline. Like I give her all of the prep instructions. Like I make myself super accessible. And that's one of the things that I really pride myself in, is that like, I'll give you my phone number. I don't care. Like you can DM me, you can email me, you can send a carrier pigeon. Like I will respond. I'll respond however. And I think that kind of like resonated with her, because she responded saying like, you're so responsive. The other girl, I feel like, is not as responsive. Your professionalism is really coming through and da da da. And she had, I guess, gone back and spoken to her girls again. And then I think it was the next morning, she had asked me for, the contract and everything. And she signed it and she paid the retainer. So
Love that.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
Within
that
like
story.
48 hours, I think. So
I love
yeah,
that. Because
it was,
I
it was
feel
a good.
like, yeah, because isn't it such a good feeling? My favorite piece of that is like you probably typically would have been like, okay, have a good luck with your wedding, have a great day. But I
Yeah.
love that you like were able to instead turn that around and, go in with it with like a reframe of a sales mindset. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
And
look at that, you turned her around.
I mean, honestly, I never would have known how to do that. So thank you.
That's
Thank
why I
you for
have
your
the academy, so you can do things
exactly.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's paying off.
What would you say has been your biggest win inside the academy? Is it something like bookings or inquiries? Have you seen more of that? What's been like your biggest win overall?
So definitely like the mindset shift for sure. I'm just a natural born, not pessimist. I'm not negative, but you know,
Skeptic?
yeah, like, yeah,
Yeah.
so that's been a definite shift in the right direction. I will say that like definitely like tailoring like my social media and like the website to really kind of be like more authentic to me, as opposed to what brides want to see, is kind of, I feel like I've gotten a better quality of brides through that. Just people who are more like me, like who are kind of on the same wavelength as me. So that's
Yeah.
definitely something that I've noticed. And just from even like my peers in the community, who are very much like, oh my God, like your Instagram, like it's so good. Like, you're like a machine. How do you like out all this stuff? And I'm like, because I'm learning to like batch content, and I'm learning what to make and what to create, and so I feel like that's definitely helped with bringing more like eyes to my page for sure, which helps translate into bookings,
Yeah.
so
And I love that you're getting more brides that are like you, because that is such an understated win, because you're posting all this content, you don't want to be like I'll say till the day I die, what you post you attract. So if
right.
you're trying to show up as somebody else, you're going to attract a bride that maybe you guys, when you're hanging out for, the full day, you're like, "Oh my God, this is
And
awful."
I will say, like, to piggyback off of that, I've also learned to recognize and kind of have more of like the backbone with like an abundance mindset, to be like, you know what, this is not, this isn't good. I'm just letting this one go. Like,
Yeah.
whereas, I would be like, hate to say the word desperate, but like, you'd be like, oh my God, like somebody's interested in my services. Like, let me book them. But even though like it didn't align. Like she wanted a braid. Like I don't do braids. Just anything like that. Whereas now I'm not afraid to let that go. Like, hey, thank you. I appreciate you wanting to like work together. I usually don't tell them that we're not a good fit. I usually kind of say like, oh, I'm not available. I don't want to hurt their feelings. But
Yeah. I would do the same thing because like they don't know, you
yeah,
know?
exactly. And I don't want to sound like a dick. So I'm just like, oh, thank you so much. I'm not available that day.
Unavailable. I'll actually be
Yeah.
in Nova Scotia that weekend. Sorry.
I'm never available. Sorry. Permanently unavailable.
If there's a braid, I'm just not available.
Correct.
I'm
Yeah.
just
No.
not. But that
Yeah.
is such a good, crucial mindset that I think a lot of us in the beginning we don't have because we're so thirsty for any booking that we're just like, we'll take anybody. So the
Yeah.
fact that now you're like, okay, I'm standing on business. And if you don't align, like I know there's going to be another bride who wants to hire me. And that
Yeah.
is such a big mindset shift to make. So like, I love, love, love that. That's incredible.
And I'm doing like I feel like I'm doing a better job of like articulating things to my brides when they if or when they ask, like if they have questions on things like, you know, like travel fee is a big thing for people. People don't want to pay a travel fee. And I just kind of explain like, hey, like this is just, how it is when I first, would do travel, like I would do it, by the mile. And then I would explain to people like, hey, listen, so when I started, doing that, or when I didn't include a travel fee, what ended up happening was like, okay, so you were getting ready at a hotel in downtown West Palm, which is only 15 minutes from me. But then all of a sudden now it's an Airbnb that's now 45 minutes away because it's closer to the venue. And now I'm out a travel fee because you told me one thing, but then it changed.
Yeah.
So I have a better way of like delivering that to people. And I just say, so to make it easy for everybody, like, the way there's no confusion and I don't have to like adjust the invoice or anything like this is what it covers. So, it just makes it, and they usually kind of are like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. Like using scenarios that are real scenarios that actually happen when
Hmm.
they're like, oh, okay, like I could see that happening. Like,
Oh
so
yeah. In sales, that's such a big thing. Communication, and I love that you feel more empowered in your communication in that way.
yeah,
But that's a big thing to like share the experiences of like somebody else because then they can see themselves in it.
yeah. And I think it because like, like I said, people don't know what they don't know. Like,
Yeah.
if they're not like for me like explain everything to me like there isn't too much information for me so I say to my brides too like listen I'm gonna like probably give you too much information but I want you to have all the information that you could possibly need so you don't feel like any questions are like unanswered or you feel confused in any way like I want to
Yeah.
try to cover all those bases for them.
Yeah. Communication is key.
It really is.
Over explaining.
Yes. Yeah,
So
for
when it
sure.
comes to since you joined in 2024, when it comes to your 2025 bookings, would you say they were better, less, or more than your previous years after joining the academy?
I think they were definitely more for sure. I also feel like there was a lot of like last minute bookings. I feel like now in towards this last quarter of 25, I feel like I'm getting a lot of like last minute inquiries, which is fine. It's great if I can, lock them in and book them. It's great. I will say though, like to be fair, this is truly like my first full year of me doing this full time. So, the previous years, I can't really give a good, honest answer because I was still
Yeah.
working at the salon.
Yeah.
So there's that, but I will say, there's definitely more inquiries coming in. And yeah, so
Wow.
yay.
Best first year ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what has been your favorite part about the academy? Whether it's a lesson,
Honestly,
community-wise,
I
anything.
like the community. I
You're
do.
so in the community and I love it. I knew you would say that.
I like the community a lot. I feel like, oh, here he is, my doggo. I feel like I really enjoy like seeing everyone's everyone's experience during the whole thing. Like, and I feel like it helps me to help other people. Like, there are people who are like new and you're like kind of like the OG and you're like, oh wait, like I've been here before. Like this is what you should do, or this is what I do. Like, I hope it helps, or just even not to sound like whatever, but like not seeing people's struggles by any means, but knowing that like not everything in the community has to be a win. Like,
Yeah.
because it's unrealistic, so
Yeah.
it's good that people are like transparent when they're having difficulties, like, you
Hmm.
know, whether it's booking a ride or trying to figure out like anything, like it just makes it feel very real
Yeah.
and very like just something that you can relate to, because we're all in the same boat, like we're all kind of trying to do the same thing, so it does make you feel like, okay, it's not just me, like
Yeah.
everyone goes through like the slumps and like the ebb and flows of the industry.
Yeah, we all have a moment where we want to tear our hair out. And then we're like,
Yeah,
wait a minute, am I the only one? Because, it can be so isolating in a sense in our
yeah,
industry. Like, and I love that the community's there because you can see where everybody's at and you can find people locally or you can find people from like all over the world. Do you know?
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Like seeing people from like other countries, I'm like, this is wild. But yeah, it's super cool. So I do like that, because yeah, it does get, like my husband doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. I can't bring any of this to him. And
Yeah.
guys think so differently. Like sometimes I don't really want a solution. I just want to like vent.
Yeah, I just want to talk and you just
Yeah.
like talk back and like try to get the tea. That's it.
Yeah, like I don't want a solution. I just want you to let me yap for a little bit.
Yeah. Just let
Yeah.
me out. That's why we have the community.
Exactly. And I do love the like the templates for things like the follow-up emails. Like all of those emails are just like brilliant. Like I never, like that's something I'd never thought to do. Like, oh, like maybe I should be sending them some form of like emails that help answer their questions or anything like that.
Say hi,
Sorry,
Mariano.
Marissa.
I want to see the baby.
I got him. I got him. He was like giving me the high.
Oh, I could see why people might think he's a Pomsky because he's
Yeah.
got the gray and the white. You're so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Hi.
I love him.
So
Mariano.
protecting his territory. Yeah, we're Yankees fans. We named him after Mariano Rivera. So
Okay. Well, I'm Phillies fan, so I can't
yeah,
relate, but okay, so just two final questions. So I
yeah.
know you love the community, that's your favorite part. What was your least favorite part? You won't hurt my feelings. This helps me. If there was something you were like, we could delete that. We don't need it.
I don't know. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I do love the tutorials too. So don't. So those, the community and the tutorials. I can't believe I forgot about those. But I don't think there's anything that I was like actually like, this.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, like I think it was just more like I took the course as in like small bites and was like, okay, this is what I'm going to focus on now. Then I'll focus on this. But I don't think there's anything in it that I felt like, oh, this is a waste or something like that. I really truly don't. I'm not bullshitting you.
Okay.
Like,
You
yeah, I
can, you
do
can,
feel.
even if you think of something later, you can tell me. It helps me.
No, I really am like, I just feel really, I like it. Like I do. I really like it a lot. I'm happy I did it. Like I feel like, and I'm just the type of person where I'll know within 60 or 90 days if something is not working out for me. Like I'll be like, all right, this is
Yeah.
a wrap.
Yeah.
But I haven't felt that way. And I feel like I'm constantly kind of learning something, which is the goal, right?
Yeah, that
So
is the goal to like keep on learning, especially with the social course. I always try to keep that one more
yeah.
learning new strategies and things for today's bride. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I have to be better at the live calls. It's just sometimes like my brain spazzes, or like I'm working, like I'll take a client in the middle of the day or something and then I'm like,
Yeah.
I forgot.
That's why the replay's there. You
Yeah.
know, that's why the replay's there. And then if somebody was on the fence about joining the academy, maybe kind of similar to the situation you had where they were burned before, what would you tell them?
So it's funny that you asked me this because I constantly like sing your praises, and when people say things to me like, "Oh, like your Instagram looks really nice," or like I put on my Instagram story yesterday like my 2026 like updated proposal, and I just kind of like scrolled through it and I got a DM that was like, "Oh my god, did you do this yourself? Like it looks so good." And I was like, "No, I joined Marissa Grace's course, and she had mentioned your course already. So I think she was kind of like on the fence. She's like, yeah, she's like, I've seen her, like, I've seen her. I don't know, you know, if I'm ready to pull the trigger. And I'm like, well, I have a code if you want to join. And I was like, and honestly, and I said, like, just, I'm like, it has done really great things, just not only for my business, but for me as a business owner. Like, learning things, learning how to track things, like things that are, if you didn't go to college and you didn't go to business school, like, you would never know to do any of these things. It's almost like, it's just, so that's kind of how I feel like, listen, the time's going to go by anyway. So you might as well invest in your business and invest in yourself and see where it takes you. And if you don't like it, then you stop taking it, like that's it. But I feel like you have to at least give it a shot. You can't judge something without really giving it like the college try. So,
Yeah, the college try. Yeah, it's like a little business. It's like business college and sales school in one.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I'm like if you're going to sit here and like be upset that things aren't growing and like your business isn't growing but not do anything about it, then like that's kind of on you. So you might as well take the dive and just and try it out.
So where can we hang out with you? What's your Instagram name?
It's at CME Beauty FL as in Florida on Instagram.
Yay. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you
I hope
so, so
I I
much.
hope I didn't like yap too much where it was like confusing.
Not at all. You did perfect. I felt like we were just like hanging out.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, you did
Good.
perfect. Thank you
Yay.
so much for sharing your story and being so honest.